So, they nerfed it into the ground and made it completely useless. Got it. They look cool, though. Generic Control and the Duck Goesmoo here, back with another episode of Bad Weapon Academy. Today we have the eviction notice, and this was actually perfect timing because I was actually about to record a different TF2 video, and then somebody commented, Anonymous50 was your name, that there was a new Bad Weapon Academy. I think he's the only person that told me. There might have been other people, but I get so many notifications from comments and whatnot. Most of the time I don't even get any notifications, but I still read every single one of your comments, so I'm really glad he said something to me. Also, Fish Stick on a Stick is at 98.2 thousand subscribers. The original video is going to link down below in the description. Definitely get him to 100k. He absolutely needs to get to 100k. That is a huge accomplishment. I cannot wait to the day that I get 100k, because I will literally cry on camera. Like, that is absolutely for sure gonna happen, because it has been a long journey since my original channel got deleted. But now I live in constant fear of my channel getting deleted. You want to check out my reaction to the last Bad Weapon Academy video, which I'm not even sure what the last one was. It's been so long. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also, being two playlists on my channel. One being my TF2 playlist, and the other one being my Bad Weapon Academy playlist. I'm also going to be streaming at TF2 tomorrow, Friday, at 5 p.m., 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing on Uncletopia servers. We'll also be in Discord, talking in chat, so literally stream will be able to hear you, we'll be able to talk, and everybody, it's going to be a great time. You got to be there at 5 though, because it will fill up almost immediate like it always does. We take a completely empty server and fill it up within like 10 minutes. So you got to be there like at 5, join the Discord server, get notified as well, and that way you can also talk to us. But I'm excited to get into this. I've never used the eviction notice. I'm pretty sure it's a heavy melee, and shout out to the patrons taking videos day early and allow me to have a paywall on the channel, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright. Fish Stick is like less than 2k away from 100k, which is nuts. It's a huge accomplishment that 100k. Rat just hit it. I've never used the eviction notice. What, did he just speed up the... Wait, why did the spy not go for those? Was that just too predictable? Wow. I would have got backstabbed there. I would have got backstabbed there when I shot him. It happened yesterday on the stream. I stream TF2 on Fridays. On Uncletopia. Gotta be there at 5 though, because it will fill up very quickly.
Jungle Inferno definitely had some interesting balance choices. On the whole, I think a lot of them were pretty good. The reserve shooter nerf was a long time coming. The pocket pistol got a much needed touch up, and the rescue ranger required metal.
I wasn't playing at that point.
However, there were also some questionable changes.
Engineer that class I refuse to play anymore.
Sniper did not have to deal with the old danger shield ever again. But the fact that it's now a massive middle finger to a class who should normally have a substantial advantage in short range and a reasonable counterplay at long range shouldn't be justified by the existence of one or two weapons.
Sort of, I guess. I don't even know what that was. Wasn't a jetpack, was it?
Making it completely worthless. But there was one nerf in particular that not only was completely undeserved, but also made the weapon in question worthless. And that's today's topic. The eviction
they look cool.
This was a weapon that was never complained about, never banned. No one really cared about it before. It was used for silly JOJO meme loadouts where you ran around with speedy but ineffective
I've never seen JOJO. Okay, so it's a JOJO reference.
Given to the GRU, Valve decided to completely neuter this thing for no good reason. How dirty did they do these brass knuckles? Well,
the pointed brass knuckles, which are super illegal, instant war crime.
With a 40% faster attack speed than the stock fists, you'll gain a speed boost, which will bring you to around the same speed as a babyface's blaster scout with no boost. Unless you have a conch boost or a whip soldier with the GRU, this is probably the fastest you'll be able to go as a heavy. However, this does come with the drawback of having one of the most punishing damage penalties in the game. A 60% reduction in damage.
Is there anything that's less?
This changes your fist from something that, while useless, can still do respectable damage
78 for a
worse
crit
stock bat for the scout. While active, the eviction notice will also give the heavy a 15% boost in his speed, putting him somewhere between a
whenever I play heavy, it's always attacking payload, so the cart just pushes me.
This is half the boost given to you by the GRU, so already it's not seeming all that worth it for simply getting around the map. But this used to be fine. Back in the day, the eviction notice would only give you a damage vulnerability while the weapon was active, making it perfectly reasonable to use in rollouts to get a small speed boost without having to worry about getting marked for death like you would be with the GRU. Now, though, things are a lot different.
Marked for death, that's also
Holding the eviction
I never
notice
used I literally used the Hulong heater.
By 5 health per second. And much like the GRU, there's a small toll to pay each time you bring it out on top of that. You lose 20 health each time you pull out the eviction notice. meaning you can't swap too quickly or else you'll end up losing all of your health. This is the nail in this weapon's coffin. For something
Why do you lose health?
Boost in speed, this is far too punishing. Both demos and soldiers have a means to get around their slow movement speed with blast jumping, but all the Eviction Notice does is bring the heavy on par with those classes' base walking speed. The Gru, meanwhile, bring you up to the base walking speed of the Engineer, Sniper, and Pyro, and that's much more reasonable for getting around the map. For this video, I'm pretty much only going to be comparing the Eviction Notice to the Gru in terms of its movement mechanics, because it's very clear with this balance change that they were trying to make it into a sort of Gru light. So let me tell you why they failed in every single way. So
why would you even need to make that change?
3 things: rolling out to the front lines, retreating from dangerous situations quickly,
also doesn't fit the character at
all.
all.
The gap on enemies. But this one is less common
he jump on the medic's head
to simply reaching the front lines, but we'll examine it regardless. Let's discuss rolling out first.
What in the world just happened? Why did these bounce off each other?
100% movement speed rounded up, while the Eviction Notice brings you to about 88% movement speed. That may not seem like a big difference just looking at the percentage, but keep in mind that percentage-wise, that's not too far off from the difference between a normal Pyro and one with the Power Jack. So, if you have the option between using something that will get you to the front lines much faster than your other option,
there's so many spies,
both for the same cost, why would you not use the faster option? Well, you may be thinking that the Eviction Notice's slower health drain will mean that you get to the front lines healthier. That's certainly an idea, but you also need to consider the health regen. Oh sure, the Eviction Notice drains your health slower than the Gru, but it also regenerates it slower. Same as the drain rate.
Wait, it regenerates?
5 health per second. Meaning, because you're spending longer on your rollouts to get to the same place, you're still draining a lot of health. Here's an example I've set up on one of the game's longer rollouts to the front lines on one of its most popular maps. Badwater Spawn to the 3rd point. With the Eviction Notice, I can make it to the front lines in 22 seconds with 170 health. And with the Gru,
that's the front line.
I make the same trip in 19 seconds with 100 health. This seems pretty clear-cut. The difference in time was fairly negligible, and I made it with
3 seconds for 70 health.
But then you factor in the regen time. The Gru's 10 health regen.
So they come back when you take them away.
Minimum 100 health back up to 300 in just 20 seconds. But the Eviction Notice will take 40 seconds to do the same. Meaning, if we take the 130 health we're missing and divide it by 5. We end up spending 26 seconds regenerating health. 6 full seconds more than the Gru takes from the bare minimum. And if we count that alongside the 3 seconds we wasted rolling out with a slower option, the choice couldn't be more clear. The Gru crushes it. You would think that long rollouts are where the Eviction Notice would shine.
They nerfed it into the ground and made it completely useless.
They only serve to make it look even worse. In an attempt to save time getting to the front lines, you end up wasting it waiting for your health pool to go back up. Now you might be thinking to use the Delocus bar in order to offset how much health you'll need to regenerate by the time you reach the front lines. And if that's what you're using either of these weapons for, then the chocolate bar is definitely a great choice. But
they'll get the health back
after
immediately.
You've made it to your destination.
But once you get into the fight,
if you're missing base health from the Gru or Eviction Notice, then eat a chocolate bar, your base health recovers substantially faster. You can easily reach your max health pool with the extra 50 health.
But I guess the food comes back,
in a matter of seconds, even if you ate it at 100 health. So naturally, this just makes the whole situation even worse for the Eviction Notice, because now you can get to the front lines faster and healthier if you just eat the world's healthiest chocolate bar. This strategy has great implications for the effectiveness of both the chocolate and the Gru, but it doesn't do nearly as much for the Eviction Notice. So long rollouts are out of the question. But short bursts of speed aren't much better for the Eviction Notice, and there's something.
Is it even that much faster though?
Especially in rough situations where you need to get out fast or take immediate evasive actions against something like a sniper. What's nice about the Gru is that in situations where you're brought down to low health, the downside is effectively meaningless, giving you free mobility for you to use at your discretion.
Banana!
So
I got my first banana a couple months ago.
And the sheer hops you can get from it are pretty insane, allowing you to juke out enemies and get to safety if you're good enough. With the Eviction Notice, that's not really in your control to the same degree.
Trying to jump around. A jumping heavy with brass knuckles coming at you.
But we'll talk about that more in a bit.
Just stares at it.
Close a small gap, such as getting behind cover quickly or crossing a sight line, and the difference between getting to your destination or not is the difference between life and death. Why would you throw
so
all
if he
your
brings
chips
him out,
in
it doesn't
and
kill
get
him
as much
immediately.
speed as
Okay.
possible? It's better to die an unavoidable death when you gave it everything you could, as opposed to actively taking a half measure and dying as a result of that instead. Now, closing the distance
you can die from having
the
the power, right?
Get more interesting. For the Gru, they're
Nice.
actually fairly good at this.
What?
Thanks to Jungle Inferno removing the damage penalty, they're a decent choice if you want to engage in melee combat.
Oh, that sniper has no clue.
Or in situations where you're caught off guard by an unexpected enemy coming around a corner.
Oh, that
especially on
boosted him
random
into
crits
him.
enabled. These situations aren't super useful or frequent,
what a name.
but when they do happen, it's something that the Gru is at least competent in. At the very least,
The
it can
Shadow.
be an excellent surprise tactic.
You're trying to get
since not
collaterals?
only
I think that's what they were
expect
trying to
Heavy
do.
Get right up in their face so quickly, and be able to keep up with most backpedaling classes. Not to mention, even if you still wish to engage with your minigun, using the Gru to close the gap on an enemy that would otherwise be just out of range can often prove to be worthwhile, even at the expense of your health.
So it's
But the
another
Eviction
thing in
notice
TF2
is
that
both worse and better.
so there's no
for
purpose
actively engaging
because there's
enemies.
better
Now,
options.
obviously, there's two major factors working against the Eviction notice here compared to the Gru: less speed and pitiful damage. It's going to be a lot harder to catch up to enemies unless they happen to be just as slow as you. And even if you do, actually engaging these enemies with your
It's like Demo Knight when you don't have a charge.
Fool's errand, or at least engaging them with just your melee. This is where we get into the best strategy I've found for the Eviction notice, and it's all based around one stat: the speed boost on hit. If you play heavy with the shotgun, the Eviction notice on a
so it works like the big
earner.
Okay,
will help you keep up the pace with them and get in their face to do maximum meat shot damage while also increasing your own evasion. It's a strategy that works perfectly with fat scouting.
I'm guessing he's marked for death.
You're already on the move a lot more frequently than your average heavy, and
you're
a lot more
fat scout
oriented, giving you the opportunity to run in.
Okay, I thought he was missing all of those shots.
Dancing around the enemies as you become much more evasive and aggressive than they could have
that scout
expected.
pulled out the shortstop and tried to push him into the pit.
Even the panic attack,
almost worked,
which normally suffers on heavy due to increased bullet spread and heavy slow movement speed. It'll pack much more of a punch since you can now get into enemies' faces with relative ease.
So if you like a certain gun and a certain mini class of heavy, you can maybe use it.
Eviction notice to keep the speed boost going on multiple
and
enemies.
use chocolate.
Now, it's worth comparing this to the more conventional and traditional Fat Scout melee of choice, the KGB. They definitely have a significant advantage in terms of the power they give to your shots thanks to the crit on kill buff, but how often you can get a melee kill with the KGB
very
is
rarely.
Very dependent on several factors outside of your control. Getting a
Why would you rush out?
Notice by comparison is
I guess
much
I had
easier.
to because the point was being
It
capped.
only requires that you tap the enemy once and focus entirely on your shotgun, unless you want to chain punches together to keep the streak going for as long as
Stabbed him in the back, but
which
still
you
didn't.
need to do in larger fights, as the speed boost only lasts you 3 seconds. But it still feels like a decently long time.
Hey, 3 seconds?
Chaining punches together, you could also use this boosted speed to continue punching the enemy, but
how
this
did he
isn't
even
really
flank
advisable,
them?
Except on targets you know for sure
Conscience
you can kill
objector.
quickly.
Yikes.
The damage penalty is just that bad. You may as well be hitting them with a wet paper towel. It suffers from the equalizer problem of having your random melee crits do shit for damage. Even worse than the equalizers at only 78 damage, which is even worse than a mini crit for your stock melee.
Oh,
but without the
timed it
benefit
to
of
jump.
potentially scaling up to be able to one-shot a heavy. It just
Took him out with
sucks
him.
for
I don't think
actual
that's necessarily a
combat.
fair trade.
Any kill you get will probably be on accident, or only in the rare case where you run into another heavy with whom you share the same
God, is
type
this
of
JoJo?
stat.
Is that what JoJo looks like?
As a positive, it can also be extremely useful for escaping.
I'm looking to see if any of my
As long as you
friends
manage
are in
to get
here.
hit on an enemy.
Because I saw Hatless
If you're
in
in
here
a
one time.
situation you know you can't win, you can manage to get out of hairy situations even faster than the Gru will allow you to, but obviously with a higher degree of risk since you need to engage the enemy to begin with. But if they're not aware of you, then you can easily be out of their sight before they even realize what's happened, and you can use your shotgun to lay down suppressive fire as you escape.
Nice.
This is definitely more applicable to flank.
Man, that heavy was not expecting that.
But it can still be useful in certain niche situations, like punching
With a shotgun, long range with a shotgun versus a
spawn
rocket.
more
Love it.
quickly. In general,
Walmart.
the more enemies there are around you, the better of an idea it is to use your speed to escape instead of continue the fight. You can even use a speed boost to close in on targets with your minigun, just like you can with the Gru, while having the advantage of keeping the minigun out for the entire speed boost.
It's crazy how much better the accuracy is. Whenever I play Scout, I literally cannot land a shot with a shotgun. It makes no sense.
Since you spend nearly a third of your speed up time revving up in the first place. What makes the speed boost so appealing is that anything the GRU can do, the speed boost can give you while you're holding another weapon that isn't draining your health or restricting you to melee range. On the subject of the health drain though, it's one of the biggest problems with this strategy and ends up massively kneecapping it. Because you lose 20 health every time you pull out the eviction notice, every punch you take comes with a cost. And if you don't hit your mark,
and it's limited melee
time and health for nothing.
Well, he's Ubered, so
it's something you'll need to be very sure
the demo's running away.
To fight. Otherwise, instead of having a speed advantage,
wait, did that heavy seriously not see him? Are you blind?
Your nearby teammates so that they don't eat your melee hits and ruin everything. The other big problem is that even though getting a single hit on an enemy isn't usually too difficult, it can be
hit rate in this game is atrocious.
If the enemy is aware of you. You don't have the raw speed of the GRU to catch up to most backpedaling enemies, and the ones you can catch up to will easily shred you at close range. It's best used reactively instead of proactively. You can definitely try to set up
he literally put out the brass knuckles and jumped off of the building.
And precise with your weapon switching, since holding out the eviction notice for too long will just cripple you before the fight even starts.
Yeah, and you can't really even do damage because of the damage penalty.
Heavy? Dear God, no. The fact that you're basing this entire playstyle off of Fat Scout should tell you that much.
Yeah, because Fat Scout's not the best.
Way to play Fat Scout? I wouldn't say so either. It can definitely be fun when it works out, but going for that punch can often land you into more trouble than it's worth. But is this the most effective way to use the eviction notice? As far as I'm concerned,
if you want to look cool.
In any other situation besides those 3 short seconds after you punch someone, it is nothing but a worse, less efficient GRU. And you're better off using just about any other heavy melee. Warrior Spirit included. So, how do we fix these pathetic brass knuckles? Well, for starters, get rid of the health drain. It's a completely unnecessary addition. Replace it with a damage vulnerability like it used to have. That's what we did on the Rebalance server. We even bumped up the base damage a little bit so it can be used with the Buffalo Steak more effectively.
I've never played on his server before. I usually just play on Uncletopia.
Secure a quick hit and make the shotgun
I do it on Fridays, so at 5 p.m. over on Twitch I stream Discord as well. Get notified, talking chat, because we like do voice chat while we're playing.
And still want to go fast. And that's it. That's all you have to do to make the eviction notice usable again. Is it still a bit of a GRU?
He knew.
Yes, but it takes away the more polarizing elements of the GRU in exchange for less overall speed, except in specific situations.
Speed boost?
And I think that's perfectly fine.
The syringes?
If the Steak banning 6's community never had a problem with any iteration of the eviction notice, then I fail to see why this version would be considered too strong. That just about wraps things up. I'd say the eviction notice is Heavy's worst weapon overall. And I suppose it's kind of fitting that the first and last episodes of the series that talked about Heavy focused on new strategies revolving around use of the shotguns. It's nice to finally close the chapter on bad heavy weapons, but it doesn't get much easier from here. Until then, though, go out there and evict the enemies from this mortal coil. And tell them Fish sent ya.
Wait, he said the last of the series. This isn't the last episode, is it? He's not done with this. This is like his biggest series. That's a lot of the new cases. Which I've opened one of the cases. I got the soldier thing. I literally got it on the stream and I was like, oh, let me just open this. All these. He's gonna have like a little clip at the end like he always does. Like I said, I stream 5 p.m. over on Twitch. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Fridays is Team Fortress Friday. So it's always a lot of fun. Why is there an F-22 Raptor in his Patreon? Do you even look at my Christmas list? That dude definitely has 5G. The power of the pistol? What is that? I mean, pistol, AR-15. We're all good. That's so many needles. That is so many needles, dude. Yikes. Oh, man. So that was the eviction notice. 43,000 views in 7 hours. Man, he's 1,800 subscribers away from 100K, which is awesome. Just absolutely awesome. That's a big accomplishment. I know my buddy Wrath just hit 100K as well, so that was really cool to see. And maybe one day it'll be my turn, as long as this channel doesn't get deleted, because I live in constant fear of it being deleted, because it's already been deleted one time and I was still never told why. But now I have a bunch of channels, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But I hope that you're subscribed and help rebuild the channel, because it's kind of crazy how 2 years ago I spent like like so many years building up that channel, had like 20,000 subscribers, and then YouTube just got rid of it. I had to start all the way back over, and already in 2 years we have more than doubled the size of the channel. So that, just thank you to the community that's stuck behind me, the TF2 community that's been with me for all of these years, and all the other videos, and people that watch the videos and comment on videos. Can I read every single one of your comments? Leave them down below. Do you think it's the worst heavy weapon in period? Also, I really don't think this is the end of the series or something. Maybe it's the end of the heavy weapons. I have no idea, but I really enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's going to be in 2 playlists, the Team Fortress 2 and the Bad Weapon Academy reaction playlist. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll be reading the comments, but until then, the next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing as soldiers, making swords.